All right, we're going to tell the truth. Tell the truth. And shame the devil, everybody. This is the Information Man. I'm with you. Everybody, thank you for being here. This one is necessary, everybody. It is necessary. We know about Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel, his late night show. Everybody made a big issue over it because the racist white supremacist president Donald Trump gave him some pushback because he didn't like the fact that Donald Trump didn't like the fact that Jimmy Kimmel did a joke, made Trump look kind of, pitiful in that joke. But as a result of that, he was censored, kicked off the air for a short period of time. Everybody made a lot of hay about it. And I just find it interesting that everybody made a lot of hay over it because, well, this is the thing. In America, everybody, black people have had our rights taken away from us, our freedom of speech. We have been the majority of people who have been censored in this country, and nobody did a cry about that. When black people speak out about things, we speak our mind in this country, we get raked over the coals for speaking our mind. But Jimmy Kimmel, he got a lot of sympathy from the celebrities alike and what have you. Remember, Colin Kaepernick took a knee because he was standing up for what was happening to black men as it related to police brutality in this country. And he took his career, NFL career got taken away because of that. So Jimmy Kimmel is put back on air because really it came down to business, right? ABC or Disney was losing money because people were unsubscribing from some of their streaming platforms, such as Disney Plus, Hulu, and the like, okay? So that's what got him back on air, but his censorship was not very long. Now, my argument is that Jimmy Kimmel should have been censored when he engaged in blackface. This man has a history of doing routines and engaging in blackface, and he did not come out and apologize for that until a lot of dirt came out about Jimmy Kimmel as it relates to him using the N-word, as he was trying to do some little goofy skit where he was trying to, I guess, act like Snoop Doggy Dogg. And lately, we know that Snoop Dogg has kind of been a buck dancer because he sat up there and said that he would never support someone like Trump, but yet he went out there and sung at his Bitcoin ball. And this is just the truth.
Tell the truth.
And so, everybody, I'm here to tell you some truth. I'm here to give you some truth. We're going to expose Jimmy Kimmel. We're going to because this happened in his past. But when you look at the fact that he did this and it took him a while to apologize for it, nobody should be feeling no sorry for Jimmy Kimmel when he got his ass censored. Now, it is un-American to be censored because we're supposed to have freedom of speech, the First Amendment right, Second Amendment right to bear arms, all these different things. So what they did to him constitutionally was a violation. But for us as black folks, we should recognize this man, he ain't funny, and his skits and things that he's done in the past were nothing but a throwback to stereotypes about black people when he engaged in blackface. And I'm going to show you other people that are in entertainment that you probably been watching for a while, and they did the same damn thing. They engaged in blackface, and it ain't funny. None of this is funny. And let me show you right here. This is what we should have paid attention to. Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon originally came out and called Jimmy Kimmel out, as well as his girlfriend, Sarah Silverman. Sarah Silverman was a girlfriend of his who also had a propensity to do blackface, to talk smack about black folks and what have you. So this is a man who engaged in blackface skits and had a girlfriend who engaged in the same type of behavior in the comedy circuit. This is a throwback to the past. This is nothing new. Black folks, this is a history. Black people were made to be caricatures. You can always look at the movie, The Birth of the Nation, which was played. It's the first movie that gave birth to the motion picture network that was played at the White House. And the president at that time said that it spoke truth like lightning. They portrayed black men as taking over the government, feet on tables, eating fried chicken, and going after white women. And then you had the Klan portrayed in that movie to save the white woman from the black man. It was a horrible depiction, all coming out of this blackface narrative and minstrel shows that has been all a part of American society. White folk, I don't know what is it about these white celebrities, these comedians. I don't know why they like doing this, but I'm going to show you exactly that they've got an issue. They are so focused on us. And that's why, let's go back to Judy Garland. She was a well-known actress. There she go in blackface, depicting a very stereotypical image. And this is where this all comes from. It goes back to caricatures. Make sure y'all look at a documentary called Ethnic Notions. It breaks it completely down. So now let's go to Jimmy Kimmel. We know that his girlfriend, Silverman, who he's no longer with, they had a short relationship, but nevertheless, he was with someone who every night in her comedy show said some of the most nastiest racial things. And this man was involved in a relationship with her. Okay. Now, let's get to Jimmy, because like I said, Nick Cannon, who, by the way, I'm not a big supporter of how he goes around impregnating different women to build his his big giant kingdom. But he was right to call out his girlfriend and call out Jimmy Kimmel. Here is Nick Cannon right here. So not only did he call out Jimmy Kimmel, but he also called out Jimmy Fowler, another late night show host who engaged in blackface as well. And as well, his girlfriend you see at the bottom. Now, Jimmy Fowler, once again, we got these late night talk show hosts who are supposed to be comedians, and these white boys are not funny whatsoever. And they themselves have engaged in blackface skits that I think are should be done away with, should not happen. And this shows you that they don't have enough respect for us to turn down doing these types of things. These guys, these white boys making money. These white boys have elevated themselves in this entertainment industry, and you would think that they would not do these sort of things. And here he is, Jimmy Fowler, a little bit more close-up look of him doing this type of nonsense right there. And this is what Nick Cannon was calling out some time back, that we sleep on what Nick Cannon was breaking down to us in this situation. So when you look back at this whole situation with Jimmy Kimmel and the whole back and forth between him and the mega crowd and the whole issue around freedom of speech. Look, everybody has the right of freedom of speech. You have the right to your own freedom to speak your mind and have your opinion. You just don't have the right to your own facts. Let's go right here, everybody, and let you see what I'm talking about. Here's Jimmy Kimmel. Here he is, not in blackface. To the right, here he is in blackface. Now, according to the reports, he called himself trying to do a skit and act like he's Karl Malone. I had a chance to hear some of the audio. It's damn right embarrassing. As you're funny, these white folks, when they do these skits, they try to think that they're talking black or what they think is black vernacular, and it just all comes out pure garbage, right? So this is the skit that he did. Here's a bigger picture of this right here. I'm exposing this man because this is a man that people were rallying around when he got booted off the show, and they brought him back for economic reasons because they're losing money. It's about money. It's about big business. And they thought that you got Clear, what was that? You got a couple of these conservative companies that were trying to shut down ABC with having this man, Jimmy Kimmel, on there. And here's another picture of him in that get up looking damn right. Now, so the whole skit was, I think, embarrassing to say the least. And if you think that's the only thing he did a skit in which he called himself trying to act like he's Oprah Winfrey. And that was also an embarrassing skit. Have y'all forgotten about these things that Jimmy Kimmel involved himself in? There he is again. And here is what I would like to say is here he is. Jimmy Kimmel issues a statement over use of blackface and racial slurs in a comedy skit. He only came out with this when they exposed him for using the N-word and doing another skit where he was trying to act like he was Snoop Dogg and using a lot of profanity. This is why, everybody, I have to say this. We as black people, we give people either a creative license to use that word, or we give them a excuse to be able to use that word when we are using these words and we're doing things to stereotype ourselves. People like Snoop Dogg in this whole situation coming out of death row, all that, what I would call samboing and all that stereotypical behavior. You see Snoop Dogg is always being connected to marijuana smoking and being high. All of this is stereotypes that we got to stop enforcing these stereotypes on ourselves. And then these comedians and folks out here feel they have a license to do comedic activity in which they can imitate us and do it in blackface to boot. And we can't accept this. So we can't accept this from our own people who behave in this manner and endorse this, because Snoop Dogg, there's photos with him kicking it with Jimmy, and Jimmy was sitting up here doing something that goes all the way back to the past. Like I said, going all the way back to Julie Garden. If you look at the movie Birth of the Nation, look at Ethnic Notion, do a Google search on minstrel shows, do a Google search on blackface, and you'll see that this was very, very disrespectful to our people, denigrating us in so many different ways. And then we have comedians in the 21st century or the 20th century engaging, because at that time, Jimmy Fowler, Fowler as well. These guys have been on TV for a very long time. Here he is again. But Jimmy Kimmel, going all the way back to the 90s, was engaging in this sort of nonsense. And I'm going to put him back up here again. So I'm not a supporter. I don't give a you-know-what that Jimmy Kimmel got censored, because he should have been censored when he was engaging in those skits and doing these things that were disrespectful to black people. And the man didn't even jump out the window and apologize for what he did until the pressure was put on him. Let me put up another article here from a clip right here. Jimmy Kimmel finally apologized. See, he finally apologized. He didn't apologize immediately, right? Until he got that smoke. Jimmy Kimmel finally apologized for embarrassing blackface skit, but slams those, check this out. He slams those, right? He slams those. This man has the audacity. He slams those who are using these thoughtless moments to diminish his criticisms of injustice, and audio emerges of him using the N-word while imitating Snoop Dogg in the 90s. So basically, this man, they made him a poster child not too long ago for like fighting for the right to have an opinion or to make a comedic joke for late night TV, right? But then after people tried to prop him up in that way, audio has been released from years and years ago of him using the N-word and doing these goofy skits, and that ain't cool. And therefore, we shouldn't support that. If we don't want that from ourselves, if we don't want to see our own people doing this, we can't make this right and comfortable for other people like a Jimmy Kimmel or any of these people to do it. But we also have to be accountable for the things that we're doing. That gives people, in this case of a Jimmy Kimmel and many others that are comedians or entertainers, they can hide behind this thing called a creative license. Because they can say, oh, I'm doing it in the name of comedy. We're doing a skit. Come on, we're not really racist here. We're not really bringing back blackface in the traditional sense. We're just poking fun at something. See, they can hide behind that shield, and then you can have people say, well, you know, black people, you use the N-word on each other. You know, they use that rhetoric, right? So we as a people have to be accountable for how we can actually stereotype ourselves and undervalue ourselves and marginalize ourselves and underestimate each other. And then we wonder why other people will try to like do the same thing to us and then make excuses in the name of I'm an entertainer, like a Jimmy Kimmel or Kimmel, let me say his name right, or a Jimmy Fowler, or any of these other idiotic white entertainers that do this sort of stuff. And again, he had a girlfriend, and Sarah Silverman, who engaged in the same type of activity herself. And when you would go to her comedy show, she would use that N-word. Oh, these folks felt very comfortable. He was with a woman that he called his boo, his girlfriend, who had no problem with this sort of stuff while they were in a relationship before they soon departed from their relationship, right? So now let me let you see how he really got himself in trouble here. This is Jimmy Kimmel, just like when they introduced him for his goofy show. Jimmy Kimmel apologized on Tuesday for his history of embarrassing blackface skits dating back to the 1990s. This man was doing this shit all the way back to the 1990s. He went on to say that he believes that he has evolved and matured in his 20 years. Here we go with the I'm white and I say so, and I'm going to explain this all the way for you people. But let me read the area that really sticks out to me, the highlighted area. Let me read this part from his show. He had been planning for months, was not related to the current race controversial he embroiled in. His statement came after an audio emerges. He did not give his apology until he was exposed by this audio, y'all. His statements came after an audio emerges of him admitting to imitating Snoop Dogg for a 1996 Christmas album in which he says in the N-word multiple times. That admissions came in 2013 interview with radio personality Adam Caron in the interview, which was only just attained by Fox News. Now, you know, Fox News jumped on this because they didn't like the fact that he was talking about their man. Let's be honest about this. Their little white supremacist president, Donald Trump. Okay. Now, let's get back to it. In the interview, which was only just attained by Fox, Kimmel admitted to imitating Snoop Dogg's voice, an original Christmas time in an LBC track. In the song, Kimmel can be heard rapping me and my ends down in the LBC. We're smoking that mother effer, you know what he's saying, Christmas tree. He's talking about smoking Mary Jane. Y'all know what Mary Jane is. Jimmy Kimmel is facing backlash by Twitter followers, the emergence of the interview with many calling for him to be fired. It comes as Kimmel faces increasing pressure to follow comedian Jimmy Fowler and apologize for wearing blackface. So back then, people were calling for him to be fired, and they did not fire ABC. And whoever was affiliated with him during the 90s, even if he didn't get that big show he's got now, the bottom line, Jimmy Kimmel was in the entertainment business and has been for quite some time. And he was able to survive doing this without getting fired. And at first didn't even apologize until the audio leaked out. And then it all comes out later on about all the blackface skits he's been doing. never got fired for doing those blackface skits, didn't get fired for the audio that leaked of him using the N-word several times and his supposedly saying that he was doing it as an invitation of Snoop Dogg. And once again, what did I say? They will use the argument of creative licensing. In this case, Snoop Dogg right there with, and remember, Tupac never really liked Snoop Dogg. He always knew there was something about Snoop Dogg that was sort of coonish at that time. Everybody? Y'all hearing what I'm saying? Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? So Jimmy Kimmel did not get fired when people were calling for him to be fired, but he gets let go for a short time because of the president, Ku Klux Klansman in the office didn't like him, so he was able to call the man that he controls, that controls the FCC, the FCC, whatever, the commission, communication commission, and they said, "Oh, we're gonna drop. Jimmy's got to go." And ABC dropped him because they're trying to get into I think they got a merger that they're working on. It was at Disney and all of that. They're working on a merger, and they don't want the man interfering in their business. But then they bring him back. But when Jimmy did what he did as it relates to black folks with the blackface, the audio that caught him blatantly saying a lot of N-wording, and he can hide behind creative licensing with this. He never got fired. He never got reprimanded. Didn't be told, hey, you're suspended for a couple of days. No, nothing. No, nothing for Jimmy Kimmel. So I'm not feeling sorry for what happened to this man when you look at his history. And then this goes not only with him, here he is again, not only with him, but you got, as I said, you got a history of this. You got Jimmy Fowler, another nighttime host, right? Remember Ted Danson? And that was Whoopi Goldberg's goofy butt that got him to put on the blackface. There he is. There he is. Remember Ted Danson? He was in a relationship with Whoopi Goldberg, and they did this. He went to some party like this thinking that was funny. Then you got Billy Crystal in the bottom corner there. You can see him. Judy Garland, I was telling y'all about earlier. Of course, Jimmy Kimmel in the upper left corner. You got Joy up at the top. You've got these white entertainers that are obsessed with this. Then you got Jimmy Fowler right there doing this thing. Oh, it's not just those folks. Let's go to some other folks. Remember Howard Stern, the radio jock host? He did this skit. I think this was a skit on Saturday Night Live with Sherman Hensley, who played in the Jeffersons. And I'm very disappointed in Sherman Hensley for playing this role. He should have known better as a black man, has lived some damn time on this earth and knows what these stereotypes are all about and how they are very harmful images. Him and old Howard Stern did a skit. That's Howard Stern. And Howard Stern, for years as this shock jock on radio, has always pushed the envelope with racial shit out his mouth. Then they were able to get us to buy into the Tropic Thunder movie with Danny Jr. Remember, Iron Man himself. Remember, he plays the Iron Man character in the Avengers. I think this is Donnie Jr. I can't say that damn name. But remember, he had a drug problem, was in and out of prison for many years, drug problem. They allowed the white boy to clean up his career and get himself back on track with the whole Iron Man series. And remember, he played in this movie Tropic Thunder, where he was depicting a black soldier. Once again, this was blackface, but guess what? This man won an Oscar for this role. I think this was Best Supporting or whatever. He got an Oscar nomination, and I think he got an Oscar off this role. Now, the question I would ask all of you, this is the fundamental question. If they had just cast a real black man to play that role, I know it was sort of a comedy type skit they were doing, but what if they had just cast a real black man who was a comedian to play that role? Would that black man have gotten an Oscar nomination? But no, these white boys play in blackface and they get Oscar nominations when they're playing in blackface, like Junior. I don't know how many of y'all realize he got an Oscar nomination, if not an Oscar, for this. And then the white woman that everybody loved on TV, Paula Deen. Y'all loved her because she would be on there cooking Southern food and talking with that Southern accent. I think she's from North Carolina or something like that, or Charlotte, North Carolina. And then again, she got caught with blackface right there. And then she did other things of a racial nature and to try to win back her black fan base with little bit she had. So I'm just telling it like it is here, everybody. I'm telling it like it is here. If y'all are getting where I'm laying this down at, if you feel what I'm saying, if everything that I said made sense, it's a damn shame. Definitely make comments on this video. Let me know how you feel about this. Share this video on all your social media and keep supporting the channel. Keep supporting the content. I'm going to keep pushing the edge here with the content. Got more content coming. I appreciate you. Love everybody out there. And everybody, tell somebody that you love them dearly. But this is a trip. We got these white entertainers that are engaging in blackface skits. And then when they get themselves caught in a little situation, guess what? Don't support them. Before you support them, do a little digging in their past. Find out what they have done that has been a disrespect to us. He gets censored for talking about Trump, but when he was doing stuff towards us and people called for his firing, none came. You see the double standard? Everybody, thank you. Take care. It's not funny, but I want to hit this right here. Thank you, everybody. Peace. Y'all take care. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you want more videos like this, you're going to get them.
Tell the truth.
You're going to get them, everybody. Peace and take care.